Hey, it's Cherie. So tonight we need to talk about speech services and how that affects us personally as a teacher and kind of the implications of that for our students. First, I wanted to say this past year was my first year teaching special education. So before that, I taught mostly like dual enrollment. My first master's is in history. So I taught like dual enrollment and AP. And so I was very removed from special education. I didn't have that many students that received services aside from like tests being read out loud and then the sped teachers would, take the kids. But for the most part, I just didn't have students that had any kind of a speech impairment. Now, this year is my first year in special education, and I'm, getting a master's in SPED and everything, and I really do love it. But the one thing that people, I think, don't realize is how many students actually do need speech services. I've got one student who, she's a sixth grader, and she has part of her brain wasn't developed, and I can't even understand her. So it's really challenging. And so speech services for students like that are really important. And sometimes the kids don't make very much progress. They kind of go through their whole lives with this particular challenge and disability. And so for teachers, it's really important for us to keep up to date with their speech pathologists and their speech accommodations, making sure that we address it in their IEPs and things like that, because these students need these services. And a lot of general education teachers, if they don't have a lot of students that have these kinds of services, I don't think that they realize some of the kids and how much they actually need additional accommodations. So I have the one student who I can't understand a lot of what she says. If it were not for her friends and her classmates who had class with her since they were in kindergarten, it's a small town, I would go a lot of the time just not understanding her. But they understand her because they've been listening to her for so long. I think this coming year, if I have her, I probably will understand her a little bit better. But then you have other kids that don't have that drastic of a speech need, and those students still may need speech services. So it's important to address the kids that need speech services, because some of them, they do make great strides and they need that additional help, whether it be having the speech teacher working with them, and then accommodations like talk to text and being able to type certain things and then get the answer to you if it's oral and stuff like that. So I think that's all I have to say about that. But you guys have a good night. Bye.